What is going on, guys? Whew, what a, I guess I'm not going to call it a pay-per-view, but what a freaking show. And just making sure my stream is good. All right. So, WWE Crown Jewel, where in the world do I begin? What is a word that I can think of to describe this show and how I feel about it? In one word: laughable. Laughable is a word that comes right off the top of my head to describe Crown Jewel. Laughable. I'm going to get into all that in a minute, all the Crown Jewel stuff. First off, this is the beginning of the video, and I'll talk about this a couple of times, and I mentioned this throughout the live stream that I just did. Down below in the link is a link to Streamlabs. Streamlabs, you can donate there. You can send me donations. I have no set amounts that you have to do, just whatever you want. If it's $1, it's $1. I'm going to ask everyone who watches this to donate at least $1. It's not for us. I am doing this because a lot of people are against the Crown Jewel pay-per-view, and I understand. We did a Twitter poll asking if they wanted us to do this, me and JD. The results were yes. So we're doing it, and we decided that we wanted to donate our money, whether it be through TeePublic or Patreon supporters or whatever it is. Anyone who was to donate in any way today, we are donating every dollar of that to somebody else. So you can go to Streamlabs, you can go to Patreon, you can go to TeePublic. All the links to all those are down below. We will get notifications the instant that someone has sent stuff. Tristan, stop. And we will donate that to the First Pentecostal Church of Southern Illinois so that they can do some renovations and stuff at their church, or donate it to families, or whatever it is that they feel they can do with however much we can raise. That is what we're doing with it. This is not a requirement. I'm only asking that you all do something, that you all do help. Now, to the review and what I have to say about the show. Laughable is the best word that I can think of to describe how I feel about this show. This show was horrible. This show was trying to tweet and portray that this World Cup tournament was this big, huge, this big, like, important thing. Well, they're wrong. This show was laughable. Laughable is the word of the day, folks. It was laughable. This tournament that they're claiming to determine the best in the world, a moniker used by RH for their shows, a moniker used by CM Punk to describe themselves. And they can back it up because they had the talent. They had the charisma. They had everything that you would want to see in something or a person that you would call best in the world. Now, what does WWE do? They take that and they make it stupid. One, bad booking decisions in this tournament. This is where I will start, is the tournament. Laughable. Laughable. They built this tournament of 8 guys, all Americans, who they wanted to say would be the best in the world. The brackets were okay. You went off those brackets to say, well, based upon storyline and how it's going, you'd probably say this is where they're going to go. Building up Kurt Angle to seem like he's really got a chance in this, out in the first round. You have the story between Seth and Dean and their issues. Dean never even made an appearance. But did Seth make it to the finals? Nope. Out in the second round. You had a finals, a laughable finals between Dolph Ziggler and The Miz. That was your finals. But, and I knew going into it that it was something weird about it. As I was watching it, a term came to my brain. This show is unimportant and it's laughable. It's a laughable show with a laughable tournament with a laughable finals. Unimportant show. You got Shane McMahon being crowned best in the world because The Miz, I guess, hurt his ankle. I don't know if that's legit or if it was just storyline. I'll assume storyline because I never saw anyone throw up an X for medics. They just brought out the referees. So they take The Miz out because you have Miz Dolph Ziggler, who I know can put on a great match. Was it the finals that we all expected? No. But you get Shane McMahon to win the finals of this tournament for SmackDown. And he's celebrating like he won a world championship. Shane McMahon, celebrate all you want. Because you're the victor of a tournament that is unimportant. On a show that is unimportant. All unimportant. All laughable. Unimportant show. Unimportant tournament. Unimportant finals. Celebrate this because you're not winning the main matches on Survivor Series. So enjoy it, Shane. Enjoy it. Because no one gives a rat's ass about your show. No one gives a rat's ass about SmackDown. I'm actually pretty calm right now. I could complain. I could get mad. I could yell. I could scream. I could cuss. But we all kind of expected this. Where we were all pleasantly surprised with Evolution, WWE delivered on Crown Jewel. But they didn't deliver in a good way. No, they delivered in a laughable, unimportant way. On a show, again, that is unimportant. Put on for a crown prince who murdered a person. Because WWE wants that blood money, right? They want their blood money. That's what this show was based on. Making sure that the Saudi prince was happy. I guess he wanted Shane McMahon to be the main guy. And you really felt like throughout this show, they were just rushing things. Everything was being rushed to get to finish. Of course, except for the main event, which had, what, an hour? An hour's time? With 4 men in their late 40s into their 50s wrestling for an hour. Almost. A very clumsy match, a very distorted match, a match that was just garbage, yet you kept having the fans saying, this is awesome. Now, I don't know. I guess Triple H hurt his shoulder towards the beginning of the match when he went over the top rope. I guess that's what happened. Ooh, knocked my pen over. The only real redeeming quality of that main event was the fact that Shawn Michaels looked as good as he did. Some people were scared that Shawn would look slow. Shawn would come back out of retirement and have ring rust and look like he shouldn't have never come back. But no, Shawn Michaels looked phenomenal in this match. Now I want to see Shawn Michaels in a one-on-one match. I want to see Shawn Michaels, Johnny Gargano. I want to see Shawn Michaels and AJ Styles. I want to see Shawn Michaels versus a Daniel Bryan versus a freaking Sami Zayn or a Kevin Owens or anyone on the roster. Give me a Jeff Hardy Shawn Michaels match, or Randy Orton Shawn Michaels match. Give me Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels again. Taker looked good when he was in the ring with Shawn Michaels. I watched that. When he was in the ring with Triple H, but he was in the ring with Shawn. They have chemistry. They looked great together. Shawn Michaels, minus the bald head, which I don't think I'll ever get used to. But Shawn Michaels looked phenomenal in this match. He looked great. I mean, that's what we waited for the entire night, right? Is to see Shawn return. They didn't really hype up the fact that Shawn had come back after 8 years, but Shawn, he delivered. I mean, he's doing moonsaults. 50 years old doing moonsaults off the top rope and looking great. Unfortunately, Kane and Undertaker were not where they should have been, and they did not catch him. Shawn busted himself open because of it. But Shawn, my gosh, give me more Shawn. I hope he does a run up to WrestleMania. I've heard JD from New York talk about it. I want Shawn Michaels and Johnny Gargano. I think that'll be great. Now that I've seen Shawn actually back, Shawn can carry his own weight. Put him in the ring with someone who can actually wrestle. I think we've got ourselves a fantastic match. Triple H looked bad in this match, but I think it's because he hurt his shoulder. So I will definitely be paying attention, and by Monday I'll be able to let everyone know if Shawn's injury was real and if Shawn is actually hurt. So the other major thing that I want to talk about off top before I actually get into the full-on results, and JD, I hate to say this, and you will probably bury me, now and nationally, worldwide, when we talk about it on Raw, dude, you were right. Brock Lesnar is once again the Universal Champion. That match was a cluster mess, a cluster you-know-what. And what was this match? What did this match consist of in 3 minutes time? 2 minutes time? A cheap shot with the belt and 4 F5s. That was the entire match. Braun Strowman buried with the shovel in the dirt to make sure everyone knows. Buried. Don't ever again mention to me Braun Strowman as Universal Champion until you completely clean the slate with him and you figure out a way to build him back up. With the damage they did with Roman Reigns is irreversible at this point. They put all their eggs into the basket of Roman Reigns, killing Braun Strowman, and they knew they didn't have faith in Strowman. And here I thought, it's clear cut. Strowman will be champion. That will be the route we go with Drew McIntyre and him. Nope. They did the safe thing. They put the belt back on Brock Lesnar in a 3-minute match where there was absolutely zero offense from Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman was buried. This is an actual, real-life, on-television burial. I predicted that neither man would win. I was wrong. I was way wrong. I looked like an idiot. I looked like a really dumb idiot. But I can't say I'm surprised. I can't say that I'm surprised at all. There's maybe 1 or 2 positives we can take out of Crown Jewel. 1 or 2. As far as everything else goes, there's just too many negatives for me to call this a good show. This was a horrible show. This was a waste of my Friday, a waste of my time. This is 4 hours I will never get back. Never get back. To top it all off, there was a kickoff show with a match that I wasn't aware of. Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura. I didn't know they were doing that. They didn't announce it. So that happened. This show was grade A horrible, grade A garbage, grade A manure. Throw it in the field and watch the weeds and everything grow. This was garbage. Garbage with a capital G. I pray to God, whoever is above me, that I never have to sit through anything like this again. I hope I never see this garbage again. I won't ever go back and watch it. I'll have nightmares about this show. This was bad. It had such an off vibe, like the entire show. It was like off and just felt different and weird. Just felt weird. It was just bad. That's all I can say. It was laughable. Laughable is the word of the day. Laughable. Then I'm having problems, and maybe it was my service, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't. The show kept lagging, kept cutting off, kept stopping, and then having to in the freaking buffer and then start over again. It just kept giving me issues. So I don't know if it was me on my end or if it was on their end. I don't know. I was frustrated. I was irritated. I hated everything that was happening while this show was happening. I hated everything. I had a laughable WWE title match that ended in the most anticlimactic way. Just, it sucked. The whole show sucked. It was laughable. Laughable. I would rather sit through 3 hours of Monday Night Raw than ever sit through this again. Oh my God. It just, I could probably do a review, end it right here with what I've said, and that would be a great analogy of the show. It would easily tell you everything you need to know and tell you everything that mattered and didn't matter. If I didn't talk about it, didn't matter. It was pointless. But don't worry. I ain't done because I got lots more to say. I'm going to run through the first round, give quick thoughts about what I thought about it, and I'll do the same thing with the semifinals, which semifinals was better than the first round matches. But WWE, I don't know who was booking this show. My 13-year-old, my 9-year-old could have booked this show better. It's a bad show, guys. It was bad. And anybody who tells you this show was good is an idiot. They don't know what they're doing. They don't understand wrestling, and they should never, ever watch wrestling again. Should never be allowed to watch wrestling again. Ever. They don't have the right to speak about it. Ever, ever, ever again. Let me get a drink before I get more into this. So, we're going to go ahead and we're going to jump into this review. Why? Because I want to. So, of course, Crown Jewel was live in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. I think that's how you pronounce it. I've been in the Middle East. It's a hot place. So, like I said, there was a kickoff match and on the kickoff show, and there might have even been another match. I didn't know because I didn't come in until about 15 minutes before the show started. And it was Rusev versus Nakamura, and I'm catching the tail end of this match. What I saw of it, it was a good match. It was pretty good. Rusev, of course, he wasn't going to win, but Shinsuke Nakamura defeated him after he got out of the Accolade and he hit him with the Kinshasa. 1, 2, 3. One thing I noticed about this, and lots of pyro. Like every match had pyro. Quarter of the budget was spent on pyro. It was ridiculous. A quarter of their budget was probably spent on pyro, guys. Yeah, it's bad. It was really crappy. So then the official show began with a crappy promo to hype up the World Cup. A meaningless trophy, a meaningless tournament on a meaningless show. Garbage with a capital G. Laughable. Laughable. Anyways, the show starts off with Hulk Hogan. Ooh, now I didn't know this was even happening until Hulk Hogan actually came out. I heard about it this morning on some last-minute rumors that were going around. I didn't think they would actually go through with it, but I'm not surprised. Hulk Hogan is back, baby. And I could care less. Quite frankly, watching that, my girlfriend's boy was sitting next to me, and he's like, "Who is that?" And I said, "You know what? No one you even need to worry about. That's Hulk Hogan. Don't even worry about him. He doesn't belong here." And I was the biggest Hulkamaniac growing up. But Hogan comes out talking about how Hulkamania's running wild, and he knew it when he got to the Crown Jewel. They wouldn't even say Saudi Arabia. Noticed the entire show, they're in Saudi Arabia. They would not say it. Even when they announced the Crown Prince, they didn't announce him as the Crown Prince. They said, "Your Majesty," or whatever. They would not utter the words of Crown Jewel. And something else they did. None of that stupid propaganda bullshit happened during the show. Now, maybe they showed it there, but they did not show it on our screens. I'm sure they played it there with the, Vision 2028 or whatever that garbage that they want to spew out at us. I won't be shocked if WWE does not pull out after the show. They got through the show. It seemed rushed, especially when you see how the first round went. But Hulk Hogan was out there. The reaction was meh. I could care less. I felt so uncomfortable watching Hulk Hogan stand out there, even though it was only a few minutes. It felt like a damn eternity. I never want to see Hulk Hogan on my screens again, and I don't think you'll ever see him on television when they're in the States. I think they'll only pull him out for shows outside of the country. I could be wrong. This is WWE. They have a nostalgic heart on. They love to pull out those guys. I've been talking so long, my throat is just dry. It's like trash. So the actual tournament kicks off, and the one thing that they did at the beginning of this tournament that I really did like, let me adjust this. The thing that I loved the most was how in the first round, they didn't do it in the following rounds, but how they announced every competitor by listing off their accomplishments, making them feel like it's important. Ray, two-time WWE champion, former world champion, etc., etc. Randy Orton, Grand Slam, and all that stuff. That I liked about this tournament. That's one thing about this tournament that was enjoyable. And I said it during the thing. I don't want to see him do it in every round. Just the opening round. Set it up so the crowd there, and that's probably why they did it, because maybe some of the crowd doesn't even know who's there. I mean, these are guys who were, for whatever reason, thinking the Ultimate Warrior and Yokozuna was still alive and wanted them in the tournament or in the Greatest Royal Rumble. So, go figure. But you start off with Rey Mysterio and Randy Orton. This was the best first round match. But this match and every following match, I'll say it again, felt rushed. Felt like they were trying to get through it, trying to get out of this thing as quickly as they possibly could. Rey Mysterio came out, went to jump off the top. Randy Orton hit this really sweet drop kick. Best kick of the thing. Like I said, I'm going to fly through these matches, hit the notes, the main things that I need to hit. You ended up getting the 619 caught by Randy Orton, which he reversed into a DDT. You had Ray surprise him with this schoolboy at the end of the match. Like, it was a quick match, very fast-paced. These two work great together. Really well. Ray caught him with the surprise schoolboy when he flipped through, rotated it, caught him, ended up pinning him 1, 2, 3. Randy Orton then just basically destroyed him, RKO'd him, took him to the outside, and attacked his ribs. Then you had Jeff Hardy versus The Miz, which is the second opening round match. Miz, of course, they all gave promos at the beginning of before these matchups. But, Miz did his promo, talking about how he'll prove that he's best in the world. And he made it to the finals. Jeff started hot. The match had good pacing. Miz, being Miz, tried to cheat several times. Jeff Hardy, at one point, kicked Miz in the throat and hurt Miz's throat. And I'm thinking maybe that's why they took him out of the finals. Maybe he was just too hurt to actually do the match because of his throat, because he sounded bad. So you had a twist of fate reversed into a skull-crushing finale. The Miz was able to win and move on to the next round, which led us to Seth Rollins and Bobby Lashley. Of course, Bobby Lashley had freaking Leo Rush with him. Leo Rush didn't say much tonight outside of the opening promo. We didn't hear a whole bunch of Lashley. Oh, but I'm sure come Monday we're gonna get it. We're gonna hear that about 1,000 freaking times before the show's over. The announce team. Funny thing is, two things about the announce team when they bring up the whole Dean Ambrose thing. Renee Young did everything she could to avoid even talking about it. Well, I wish I had some insight, but that's not what it's about tonight. It's about the Crown Jewel tournament. It's about something bigger. Well, no, it's not. She kept quiet. She wouldn't comment on it. Either match that Seth was in, wouldn't comment on it. And the announce team even didn't know, well, is Seth Rollins actually the tag team champion? Are we sure that's the case? We have Survivor Series coming up where it's champions versus champions and team versus team. And we don't even know who our tag team champions are on Raw. Who's Sheamus and Cesaro facing in 2 weeks? Are they going against Rollins and Ambrose? It would definitely make for an interesting match. It would make for a very interesting dynamic. But Lashley, he showed, obviously, his strength in this match. And Seth dove through the ropes, looked like he hit his head. The ending was Seth jumping over a spear, and then he hit the curb stomp, 1, 2, 3. I thought Bobby Lashley would get the win, and then Dean would interfere. I was like, okay, at this point I'm thinking, well, then Seth's going to the finals. No doubt Seth's going to the finals of this tournament. Again, I was wrong. Which led us to the next match. Kurt Angle, the final first-round match versus Dolph Ziggler with Drew McIntyre. Everyone was sure Kurt was at least going through one match. That Dolph was not going on, and he would not face Seth Rollins. Both guys, of course, were great collegiate wrestlers. I don't know if it's just me, but to me, Kurt Angle looked stiff, like he... when I think back to Kurt Angle when I was watching as a younger guy, Kurt Angle was always so fluid in the ring and always just kind of flew around. Like, he looked good. You knew, like, gosh, he's such a great athlete. Now, while Kurt still looked good, he did not look great. And I'll never care to see another one-on-one match with Kurt Angle in a match. Ever again. He looked stiff and he looked slow compared to how he used to. There was a couple times where Kurt botched spots. Like the first time that Dolph freaking reversed the Angle slam. He grabbed Kurt. He was supposed to do an arm drag. Kurt stopped and then threw himself over. He looked so stiff in the ring. The Famouser was countered into an Angle slam with only a 2 count. Ziggler countered the ankle lock. Kurt was supposed to roll through. Kurt stumbled. Anyways, Dolph Ziggler got a zigzag for a 3 count, and Dolph Ziggler advanced to face Seth Rollins, which we've seen, I don't know, quite a few times. So the first match outside of the tournament is, and don't worry, I'll get more into my thoughts on that once I'm into the semifinals. We'll get there. The Bar versus the New Day for the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships. Excuse me. Oh, New Day coming out on a magic carpet. My goodness, that took forever, didn't it? Like, they're just up there still dancing. Like, oh my gosh, it felt like it took forever. Forever. Oh my gosh. And I'm sorry, I'm losing track. That annoyed me. Seeing them come out, how long that took. The match itself had good pace. Excuse me for just 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. So, back to the match. You had Sheamus and Cesaro, who worked great as a team. The match pacing was pretty good. This was one of those matches, though, I had seen, I don't know, 2016 up into 2017, and now in 2018 several times. I just don't care to see this match anymore. I don't care about this match anymore. I do not care. I don't want to see it anymore. It's just a match that I'm over. And outside of the fact that the Bar looked, great. The Bar always looks good. I honestly think I'm starting to lose my interest in the New Day. I laugh at them, but now it's like repetitive. They need something different. Maybe a gimmick change. They need to change up because they're always comical. Even in this match, they try to act comical. You're in a title match, and y'all are acting silly. I get it. That's their character. Vince McMahon loves that, so they're going to continue to be booked that way. There were spots that Coffee was supposed to do that looked messy. It's just, maybe it was jet lag from the flight. I don't know. It just looked, ugh. But when Coffee got the hot tag for Big E comes in. He's cleaning house. Freaking, the Bar looked great. They were fluid. They had great chemistry. Their match, their team moves were good. Like, they looked good whenever they do double team moves. You get toward the end of the match, Big E, avoids one brogue kick. Big Show's on the apron. Big E goes at him. Sheamus pushes him into the corner. The ref dives to avoid it. Big Show punches him in the mouth. And then you get a brogue kick, 1, 2, 3. By this point, Coffee had been taken out. Cesaro was wherever. You have the Bar retaining their tag team championships and continuing on with their championships. Now, don't know who, but they will be facing whoever are the Raw Tag Team Champions at Survivor Series. I don't see a title change happening between now and the next 2 weeks, because this is about the point where they promoted WWE Survivor Series. 2 weeks you have to build all your interpromotional matchups. That there alone tells you WWE really screwed up doing what they did, putting these matches where they put them, and doing these shows how they did. Not matches, but putting these shows where they put them. Because you have 2 weeks to build your shows. We don't even know who's going to actually be the champions. Oh, titles can change hands between now and then. But if this person stays the champions between now and then, 2 weeks, you got 2 shows. 2 shows per brand to build the Survivor Series. You got to do Fallout this week, build this week. Next week's your go-home show for Survivor Series. Holy crap, man. I have 2 weeks, and it's time for another show. Interesting, right? And we don't even know what the actual situation with the Raw tag team titles are. So who's the bar going to face? Maybe they'll just throw a random team in. I know promotional. It's not champion versus champion, but whatever. Are they going to let Seth do 2 matches, or are they going to have Seth and Dean drop the belts before Survivor Series? Guess we'll wait. We'll see. Moving on to the semifinals of the World Cup tournament to decide the worst in the world. I mean, best in the world. My bad. Best in the world. The Miz versus Rey Mysterio. Now, before the match, Miz said that, he got kicked with the heel in his throat with the heel of Jeff Hardy, and that he was hurting, but he was going to fight through. And the match was better than the first round matchups went. Rey Mysterio was so quick. You saw him toying around with Miz, making Miz kind of chase after him. But once the Miz actually got him, Miz just kind of tortured Rey throughout the match. Every time Rey would try to come back, Miz would kind of get him back down. So finally, Rey was able to get control, and then the pace started picking up. Rey was just flying around, hitting him with things. Miz catches him, though. My throat's dry. Hits him with the skull-crushing finale. Rey goes for, Rey kicks out. Rey ends up going for that same pin that he got Randy Orton with. That's that cool little schoolboy. Miz kicks out of that. Rey ends up hitting a 619, knocking the Miz down. He goes for his frog splash. Miz gets his knees up and then rolls him up for the 1-2-3. That was basically the match. Let's see. What do I got here? Hey, we're on Apple Podcast. That is awesome. Jake, if you're watching, thank you. Thank you very much. I will message you here in a little bit, man. I would like to have had Jake on here with us, but I don't even know if Jake was even watching the show. Maybe me and Jake will do a retrospective or something on Crown Jewel later. So you got that match, right? And it was a good match. Rey and Miz worked really well together. I'm not upset. I think they worked really well. I do. But again, it felt rushed. It felt like, let's get this and get it over with. Then you had the polar opposite. When you had Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler, again, this time in a World Cup semifinal match. We've seen this before, right? We know we've seen this before. We know that what we're going to get. Now, I'm not saying they have bad matches. Now, I mentioned during the stream that it's like their matches got worse as they went along, that their peak match was that one they had on Raw, that first one, or the second one they had on Raw, the one that went 30 minutes. That was their peak match. This, nowhere near that, but it was still another really good match. It was slow pacing with the slow build. You had the two grappling. You see Dolph Ziggler throughout the match actually wrestling Seth, which is not Seth's forte. It's not what Seth Rollins does. But Seth and him still made a really great match. You have a part in the match where they're doing these series of pins and reversals and combinations. And I love watching these two wrestle. But this honestly was not the semifinals that I wanted for the Raw side. I wanted Kurt Angle versus Seth Rollins. But now that I saw the match with Kurt Angle, maybe it's a good thing I didn't get that match. I'm actually kind of happy that I didn't get that match. Because Kurt didn't look good. He just didn't. So you get a crazy ending. Drew McIntyre starts getting involved. Seth had already had a little stare down with him, telling him, hey, get involved. Get your boy disqualified. Go ahead. Hit me. Do something. I got to get another drink. Oh, holy crap. And, Dolph is reversing the Falcon Arrow after Seth did the superplex. He reverses that into a zigzag. Then you got, it's like a crazy little mess. Excuse me. So here comes Drew distracting Seth. Seth eventually gets hit with a super kick after after Drew pushes him off the top rope. Dolph ends up getting the pin. This led you to probably the most, how do I put this? The most unlikely finals that anyone would have thought. There's probably one person who watched and said, yeah, there's going to be finals. Miz and Ziggler. One or two people who thought that. You were the two smartest people in the world. Because I never would have thought of that. Ever. But that's what happened. That is what happened. That set up your finals, which we'll get into here very shortly. Oh my gosh. But overall, good match. Where I thought Dean was somehow going to be involved. I guess Dean didn't make the trip. Maybe Dean said, F off, I'm not doing this match. And he'd be right to do so if he wanted to. So here we are to the WWE Championship match. Oh, anticlimactic. I'm not going to call this match laughable because it wasn't a bad match. It was a good match. But so anticlimactic. For what is supposed to be the final match between these guys one-on-one, it wasn't at all what any of us expected. I could have seen them go another 10, 15 minutes. But they saved most of their time for the last match, I suppose. They didn't even give the finals anything. This was a very physical, very fast-paced match. It was speed versus power. This was a match where nobody really gained advantage. In their previous matches, Joe would work over AJ for a while, then AJ would start to work over Joe. You didn't really get that. There's a couple big spots in the match. The clothesline on AJ, where he gets turned inside out. That they do that every match. AJ makes it look good every time, but come on, guys, do something different. But it looked like AJ, no pun intended, Saudi crowd, like he was killed. And then AJ getting that dive from Joe Joe looks like he kills people when he does his stuff. Joe makes it look like he's really hurting someone. Then there's also the spot after AJ gets put in the coquina clutch. You see AJ like fighting, trying to get out of the coquina clutch, where he's like grabbing at the leg, like he looks like he's desperate to reach and keep a hold of his title. That was another good spot. I love that spot. It's like, okay, AJ's using his brain because he knows he can't outpower Joe. The match ended. The whole match just felt off. Like they literally looked like they just kind of threw this together, got it out there, again, rushed the match in order to put something else on the show. But you just get AJ, he gets up, he gets in position for a phenomenal forearm. I'm waiting for Joe to like move or something and, reverse it. No, he hits it. Like, okay, well, Joe's going to kick out. And he doesn't. And I'm just sitting there like, what happened? What am I missing here? Did I miss something? Apparently I didn't. AJ Styles retained the WWE Championship, which I predicted after having some back and forth with myself on whether he would or he wouldn't. But it was what it was, I guess. This is supposed to be like a huge match on a huge show, and it felt weird. The entire vibe of the show felt weird, and this match especially, like, I don't know what creative was thinking. I don't understand why they can't give Samoa Joe the championship. Samoa Joe will probably never, ever be WWE champion. I apologize, guys, for sucking down liquid, but my throat is trash. I ain't talking for a while after this. Not saying he was trash, but like the match isn't trash. I don't understand why they can't give Samoa Joe the WWE Championship. JD is ready for AJ Styles to be out of the title picture. It's not going to happen. And it doesn't look like it's going to happen. AJ Styles next week will be the, year-long title run. He's not losing it before Survivor Series. So does he go into December as champion? I'm guessing that's what they're doing. Will they take the belt off of him? They certainly could. Miz should have won this tournament. I'm going to get to it, and I'm going to bring it. It's going to tie in together with this WWE Championship. This whole match, this match with these two only came about because Daniel Bryan refused to work Crown Jewel. Refused. It's the only reason we got this match. I almost wish they would have kept Daniel Bryan versus AJ, but chances were they would have probably got about the same amount of time. They wouldn't have gave him much more time than what they gave these two. It was like, yeah, Joe's in it. We kind of had to throw him in it. Let's just get the match, get it over with, and we'll move on from there. That's kind of how it felt. And I am disappointed in the WWE Championship match. I am. But I'm going to move on to a match that I'm even more disappointed in. The freaking Universal Championship match. All 3 minutes of it. I don't even think it was 3 minutes. Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar, they make their entrances. Baron Corbin came out to, show the belt. Here's the belt. Here's the belt. The rumor was Brock Lesnar would probably not win the championship. Most people were assuming Braun Strowman would win the championship. Brock will go do his UFC thing. Dave Meltzer, who I hope was not in the crowd, because he probably would have ended up missing, even said there will be no screw finish. This match will either Brock wins or Brock leaves. No screwy finishes. Don't expect it. But don't rule it out. Well, right out, there wasn't I can't say it was a screwy finish, but right out the gate, here comes Baron Corbin after showing the belts. He walks off behind Strowman and he hits and clocks Strowman in the back of the head with the belt, which immediately puts Strowman down. And we get 1, 2, 3, 4 F5s and a kick from Braun Strowman. That is the entire match. Their entrances lasted longer than the match. I don't know if it's because WWE don't have faith in Braun Strowman. I don't know if it's just they're more comfortable with Brock Lesnar, or if they have plans for Brock Lesnar going into the Rumble. I don't know what it is. But like I said in the opening, I do not ever, now or ever, want to hear a word about Braun Strowman in the title picture again. Not for a very long time. Because if you didn't give it to him now, you should have gave it back to him You should have gave it to him last year at No Mercy. Y'all didn't do it. You should have gave it to him at the Royal Rumble. You didn't do it. He should have been in the main event of WrestleMania. But no, he's teaming with Nicholas for the tag team titles. That almost killed him. And then you build him up over the summer to be Mr. Monster in the Bank. He should have cashed in at SummerSlam, should have won the belt there. No, should have done it the night after Raw or night after SummerSlam. Nope, didn't do it there. Then you didn't even give it to him at Hell in a Cell. But now I was supposed to believe that they were going to do it here? I picked neither man would win. Nope. They went with the safe bet. Let's give it back to Brock. Well, we don't want no... What? I'll guarantee you. You can call me Nostradamus after this. I will guarantee you. Okay, I won't guarantee you. But I will say to you that I would not be shocked if they did not put this belt back on Brock and said, you know what, Brock? Make 1 or 2 appearances a year. And when Roman comes back, we can throw the belt back on Roman, and then you can go off and ride into the sunset. Do your UFC thing, but we want to keep the belt on you till our guy can come back, and then we will build him back up, and he can beat you again, and that will be his redemption story. However long it takes, I guarantee you Vince McMahon's thinking that. Whether they go through with it or not, rather than giving the belt to Strowman and starting to build talent, putting Drew McIntyre into the picture and having him and Strowman fighting for the belt and building the guys up, they throw it back on Brock Lesnar. You'll never really see the championship. The belt will be devalued even more, but then they'll tout it as the biggest title on the freaking shows. And we probably won't see a title change again until Roman Reigns comes back. Because they do it for Roman. Right? That's the term that JD loves to use. They do it for Roman. I will bring this up. I will be highly shocked if we actually see another person beat Brock Lesnar for the championship before Roman comes back. You'll have another year-long run because I don't know how long Roman Reigns will be out. I don't know how long it will take him to recover from leukemia. So I see Brock Lesnar with the belt all the way until Roman Reigns returns. Then Roman will be the champion again. Then they'll continue what they wanted to do with Roman and giving him the big push into a WrestleMania or whatever. I will not be shocked at all if that's what they do. Though the good thing, silver lining in this, because it was the best match Brock Lesnar ever had, was last year at Survivor Series against the man he is now being scheduled to face again at Survivor Series, AJ Styles. That, to me, is the one saving grace of this match and the Samoa Joe AJ Styles match, is that we are going to once again see these two guys compete at Survivor Series, champion versus champion. Now, this time, I think it should be the main event. It wasn't the main event last year. It should be the main event this year. It's just water. Last year, these two guys had a match of the night. I mean, it was voted as one of the best matches of the year. And I have a message. I'm taking it as for what it is. I would love to see Brock versus AJ too. I think AJ should win this time, though. I think you should give the win to AJ and give him the W. Because Raw will probably win the main event again. Raw will win the women's one-on-one match. SmackDown might win the tag team match because I don't see Seth and Dean getting along. If Dean even shows up for the match. I mean, I don't know how this can play out. I mean, there's intriguing things going into Survivor Series now with some of the matchups, or some of the potential matchups. Excuse me. Kid screaming. I had to quiet him down so you guys didn't hear him fighting. Didn't even say anything. I just looked. Oh, geez, I didn't have to say anything. So, yeah, that's the silver lining. That's what we got. Some intriguing things being set up for Survivor Series. And we'll talk about it over the next couple of weeks, you know, as Survivor Series is, I guess, built. We know a few matches now that could change because Lord knows they changed a bunch last year. Very last minute. So, that led us to the World Cup Finals. And here's where I tie everything in. As far as all the stuff that the main stories. My nose is itching. The Miz was supposed to face Dolph Ziggler. I didn't see what happened. I was looking down at my phone. I was looking through tweets. And all I know is Miz is getting up and he's hobbling around. And they play enough that he hurt his ankle. Or hurt his knee. Shane McMahon's checking on him. And things were weird. Shane McMahon is checking on him. The ref's like, no, we got to forfeit the match. Miz can't continue. We're going to forfeit. We're going to go from there, and we're going to see what happens. We're just going to forfeit it. Raw's going to win. Shane McMahon's like, no, we're not going to do this. This is the World Cup. This is important, right? That's what I kept saying. My gosh, my throat is dry. And why do they keep opening the door and arguing? Where was I? Yeah, so Shane, the ref's like, due to the fact that the Miz can't continue, your winner due to forfeit. And Shane's like, no. And the announcer kept trying to do it, and Shane's like, no, look, I'll replace him. I'm going to replace the Miz. And you have the Miz down on the ground like, I've never been hurt. Are they writing the Miz off of TV? Did they want to do this? I don't understand what happened here. We got Shane McMahon, who didn't even compete in this tournament, now being crowned the best in the world after one match that only lasted about 6 minutes. It's getting harder and harder to talk without my throat drying up. And he's celebrating like he won a world championship. I looked on Twitter. I sat here in utter if they wanted shocking, they got shocking, but for all the wrong reasons. They put, after what was supposed to be a grueling tournament, a tournament to decide the best in the world, they gave it to a McMahon. A McMahon won the tournament. And they literally said, Shane McMahon, the best in the world. Is that supposed to be a slap in the face to CM Punk? That, oh, hey, look, Punk. Hey, Phil. A McMahon is now the best in the world. Is that what they were trying to accomplish here? Because I felt offended. That made this tournament, if it wasn't already, made it even a bigger joke. This is a huge joke now. Huge joke. This was a laughable show in a laughable country on a laughable day on a laughable show with a laughable tournament with a laughable finals with a laughable winner. All laughable. Got crazy kids.
Back in my video.
Laughable. So now I'll go over the match, but it was like just an odd feeling, like all of it, like I was expecting like to add a person into it or something. But then the Miz goes down with a tweaked ankle or a tweaked knee, whatever it was, and Shane took his place. Now Shane looked ripped. Shane was like just jacked. Shane started off hot. He's punching. He's, doing those fake little punches. And the funny thing is Shane trains MMA. Shane should be able to land those, make them look real. Baron Corbin grabs at Shane, so they kick out Baron Corbin. Next thing you know, Dolph Ziggler's down. Shane's going to the top rope, and he's doing the coast to coast, and he's pinning Dolph Ziggler for a 3 count. You could hear it in the voice of the commentary, like, for once in my life, and I know JD's going to go completely opposite. Hey, you. Down. JD's going to disagree with me just because he can't stand Michael Cole or Dolph Ziggler or anybody. But they are going to make it seem as if, I agree with Michael Cole. They were just like, oh, I'm not calling him that. I'm not going to deem Shane McMahon the best in the world. Like, for once in your life, it's almost like they did not tell Michael Cole or anyone that this is what they were doing. Michael Cole acted like he had no clue. I mean, I'm sure he did, but he acted as if he didn't know what was happening. It was ridiculous. The whole freaking show was just ridiculous. And this was the icing on the freaking cake. It really was. I hated it. I see you. I see a kid just standing there, just waiting patiently to young, I can't speak, to run and yell. Checking out some tweets. I'm looking at some tweets real quick. Oh, I can't wait to watch that. Oh my gosh. So, gosh, they have WWE's tweeting some stuff backstage with Hulk Hogan. Woo! I'll pass. I legit hate Hulk Hogan right now. I don't care. I hate Hulk Hogan. I don't ever want to see him on TV again. I felt dirty after seeing him. I felt dirty after seeing that. After seeing Shane McMahon be crowned best in the world, the reaction that he got, is this going to be the start of a Shane McMahon heel turn? Is he going to go on blasting everyone on Raw and talking about how is he going to come out with the freaking trophy on Tuesday? Look at me. I'm the best in the world. I brought it back home for SmackDown. None of my guys could do it. Miz, or he's going to fire the Miz because Miz couldn't do the match. What's going to happen? Is Miz really hurt? Or is it just the work? I don't know. King Larry the First. Yeah, dude. They should be ashamed. They should be extremely freaking ashamed of what they did. Crown Jewel, from top to bottom, they should be utterly ashamed. Just, it was garbage. I can't even articulate words to really describe this show other than laughable garbage and tell you that it sucked. That is it. And I'm not even done yet. There's still another match to go for the night. So, the main event, after we had, and again, I've never seen Michael Cole act the way that he acted on television. He acted like he legit hated what just happened. He acted like he was legit sick to his stomach about what he just watched. And so did Renee Young. Renee Young and him were just like, was this even worth it? That's something else I want to bring up real quick. I will give WWE some credit to bring in Renee Young into the show and having her on the panel. Now, again, it's another Raw panel doing the show, announcing as announce team. But I am glad they brought Renee Young in because that, to me, is maybe a sign that they're being a little defiant against the Saudi government, saying, well, you said no women. Well, we're bringing her in because we feel a woman deserves to be. So I appreciated that. I did. 100,000%. I was worried about what could potentially happen or what would be the possible repercussions of them bringing her in, but it seemed like everything went fairly well. Seems like everything was on board. So cool. Something else I want to bring up before I get off here. One, you have a Saudi announce team, the Arabic announce team. I'm not against people of the Middle East. I'm not. I have been deployed to Iraq. I do have a certain feeling when it comes to the Middle East and to its people in general. I'm not a racist. I'm just not. I've had bad experiences there. That's all I'll say. I've had bad experiences there. And being in Saudi Arabia, while it looks good on paper and it looks good when they build a card and do their pretty little designs and their sets, it just always gives me a bad feeling. It just does. And seeing the Saudi guys sitting there in their little turbans and everything just bugs me. Now, what bugs me more is the fact that after they did the intros and Hogan came out, they felt the need to say the Crown Prince is in attendance. I don't give a rat's ass that he is there. He is not why I'm watching this show. I don't care that he's there. It does not matter to me. Don't tell me he's there. I don't want to see him. The dude just had a hit put on a guy, and we're saying, look who's here. And I know WWE's being told they have to. I understand that. But I don't want to see it. The man had someone murdered. a man who had a family, a man who had a girlfriend, a wife, maybe kids. I don't know. And they're putting the guy on TV. He's here. Look, everyone. Your Majesty, whatever his name is, because they didn't care to pay attention. I could have cared less. Main event time. Main event time. My blood's gonna boil. Move on. DX versus the Brothers of Destruction. I was so glad to finally get to this match, just because I knew we were on our way to being done. We were on our way for the show being over. Now, Shawn Michaels, he's in shape, dude. He looks as good of in shape as he was when he left 8 years ago. The one thing, and I already said it once, I'll never be able to move past the fact that Shawn is bald. I won't be able to. Now I got the hiccups. I'll never get over bald Michaels. You know, the hairless bald kid. That's his new name. HBK stands for the hairless bald kid. Shawn Michaels. That's stupid. Took forever for this match to start, between their entrances, getting into the ring, and then just they're standing around talking and deciding who's in what corner, and just they took too long. That was probably about 10 minutes alone of time for this. Shawn finally gets in the ring, and even before Taker got in and they gave them their big pop, Shawn moved around that ring like he had never left. I expected Shawn to be a little slower. Shawn didn't look slow at all. Shawn looked like he picked up right where he left off. Shawn is such a natural when it comes to this business, when it comes to being in the ring. I understand. I have said at points that I think Shawn Michaels was overrated. But when you see, and maybe it's just because of how long it's been since I've seen him, but Shawn looked so fantastic. He could out-wrestle most of the guys on the roster today. He could keep up with the best. Give me Randy Orton. Give me Johnny Gargano. Give me Aleister Black versus Shawn Michaels. Give me so many matches. I'm going to carry. I know our next big list. I know what I want it to be now. And it's not going to be this week, but it's going to be in a few weeks. We're going to do like our top 10, like best of the best dream matches, right? We're just going to put together our own dream list and rank it, because Shawn looked good. And I know they're going to keep Shawn around and have him compete some more. I know they will. And him and Taker in the ring, they got a big pop. The match was a cluster. It was just a cluster. But this was probably the loudest the Saudi crowd was all night. And Shawn, I will harp. That is the biggest, shining thing in the show, is the fact that Shawn Michaels looked as good as he did in this match. Outside of that, it's just a lot of back and forth between the things, between the teams. They did their outside spots. A very crappy, shitty table spot with Shawn, or with Triple H being, choke slammed through the table. Looked like garbage. Kane needs to get the hell out of there. Go be mayor, dude. Stay away. I don't want to see you again. I really don't. Again, I think Triple H hurt himself. I think that's why Triple H didn't take the bump as well as he could have. It's like he landed on the table and then the table broke. It looked bad. It really looked bad. There's a spot where Renee Young, after that, she's all like, "Oh my gosh, it looks like a crime scene." I laughed. Audibly out loud laughed, because all I could think was, these guys killed a person. And you're talking about something looked like a crime scene. And they're bringing up, the Reaper. Well, that guy got raped, right? Because he was killed. Now he was raped, right? There's a spot where, they got Shawn. He's separated. He's in the ring. And Shawn gets Undertaker down. Triple H is down. He looks hurt. I'm so sure that he really hurt his shoulder. But Shawn's on the top rope. He knocks Kane down. Kane's mask falls off. So you just see Glenn Jacobs, bald head and his face. Does it really matter if he throws his mask back on? Because they would not show his face. They kept him away from his face so he could put his mask back on. This isn't Kane in 1998 where we didn't see his face. Okay, guys? It's okay to see Kane, Glenn Jacobs without a mask. Okay? It's not going to be like, oh my gosh, we've seen it for years. Okay? Uh-oh. Got messages. Sweetness. Where was I? What was I going to talk about? Okay, yeah. I can't believe I've already been going this long. So Shawn Michaels then decides he's going to climb up on the top rope. And he looks, freaking Michael Cole's like, don't do it, Shawn. You've not done this forever, or whatever he said. Shawn looks at, points at it, and says, oh, I got this. And he stands up and he just goes, yeah, why not? And he just flips. And I was like, oh, God. I was worried that Shawn couldn't do this. Like, oh, Shawn's 50 years old now. And I don't know if he can still pull this off. And he did it just as flawlessly and as smooth and as just quick as he ever did. Ever did. I will tell JD, go back and watch this match. Just go back, JD, watch this one match and just watch Shawn wrestle. That's all I'll expect him to do. So Shawn does that moonsault. Taker ends up booting Shawn in the face when he's coming down, so Shawn's face was busted open. Kane and them missed. So Shawn climbs back in the ring. Triple H gets the hot tag. Every move he does, he's protecting that shoulder, right? He's just doing his moves. He's protecting the shoulder. Pace starts picking up. They start flying around. Triple H ends up getting a Hell's Gate put on him. Shawn is, getting ready to get up. Kane goes to chokeslam him. Shawn reverses that. Sweet shin music. Kane falls over. You get to the end. You get, they're going for stereo because after they've sat up, crowd goes popping. Ooh, they sat up. They go for stereo tombstones. And Shawn grabs Kane's eyes, scratches it. Then Triple H gets down. He hits Undertaker. Undertaker gets hit with sweet chin music. Then he hits Kane with sweet chin music. Triple H gives him Kane gets hit with this stupid look. I mean, Kane took the pedigree bad. It looked really bad. It was a bad pedigree. It looked horrible. But then he pins Kane, and you get the 3 count. D-Generation Wax won. I thought the Brothers of Destruction should win to set up for the next match between Shawn and Undertaker. I don't think it will be at Survivor Series. I think they'll have a match, but at a different show. It was just bad. It was a bad show. Up to bottom, top to bottom. The match was bad. Shawn Michaels looked good. I've gone over everything I could possibly go over about this show. I guess I should grade the show. I feel like I'm going to grade it, but it's going to be a bad grade. First off, my takeaway from the show. I gave you my opening thoughts. Now I'm going to give you my takeaway. Crown Jewel should have never happened. At the very least, should have been moved to a different location. Should have been a different time. They gave the women their all-women's pay-per-view only to do yet another all-men's show where the women were not allowed to be a part of it. This should not have been a show that ever happened. We found out 6 weeks ago, oh yeah, there's a Crown Jewel pay-per-view. By the way, that's happening just weeks before Survivor Series. 2 weeks before Survivor Series. We're going to throw y'all another show for y'all to watch with the guys. And it was frustrating. The whole show. It's ruining future plans for Survivor Series. And WWE is starting to find themselves in this habit of booking shows way too in advance now. You know, Survivor Series is 2 weeks away. They're already starting to book matches for TLC. They did this trying to build 3 shows to all these, all at once. They were trying to build Hell in a Cell, trying to build Crown Jewel, trying to build Evolution. And it worked and it didn't work. It ruined everything as consequence. You had a government who had a guy killed and they glorified him and gave him a show. I understand contractually they kind of had to. They didn't really have much option. I get that. understand. But it's frustrating because this is a show that I seriously feel like did not need to happen. And it's a show that I watched because you guys wanted me to. The people who voted wanted me to watch the show. So I watched it. JD would have watched it if he was free. JD would have been here with me watching. We'd been in front of our new set. JD didn't work today, so I decided to go take it to a different place, and I decided to watch it because JD I knew wouldn't be here. It was just ridiculous. There's no point. There was no point in the show. It's my new buddy. Gotta fix my buddy. It sucked. It sucked. My ratings for the show, I can't even finish my thought because it was just that stupid. My grade for this show, honestly, I'm giving this show only because of the Shawn Michaels match. I'm giving this a 2.5 out of 10. All I'm giving the show. I can guarantee you if JD were to, I guess, have a voice, he'd probably give this a really low rating too. He really would because it was just ridiculous. It was a nice day out today. I should have did something. Honestly, that's what I should have done. I should have went out and did something. But I watched this. It was garbage. So I'm not going to take y'all's time up anymore. You guys already know Streamlabs. I will continue this throughout the day. If you watch this stream at any point today or even tomorrow, for today and tomorrow only, anyone who becomes a new Patreon, anyone who donates to Streamlabs, anyone who buys a shirt, every bit of money we make from those three areas, from today and tomorrow, we will donate it to our charity, which is going to be the First Pentecostal Church of Southern Illinois. We are donating our money to them so they can do renovations and help families, whatever they need to do. It's the holidays. I'm sure they'll think of something to do with that money. That is our plans. But please go out and be a patron. Please go out and buy merchandise. Please go out and do these things, not just for us, but for this cause. Because this show didn't deserve to happen, and this is our way of trying to do something good out of it and trying to do something that makes it meaningful and is worth everyone's time for sitting and watching it and coming in and watching us. If you don't want to do that, hit the like button. Share this video, get it around so others can come in and others can try to help. I can't tell you if anything like this happens next time. If they do another show next year, I can't tell you that I'll do this next year. I can't tell you that we'll be watching that show next year. I will probably boycott any other Saudi show they ever do. I'm not doing another one. If JD wants to do it, JD can watch, he can review. I will not. So follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook. The links are down below. Go ahead and go to our other YouTube channel, YoBro Podcast Network. This video, as long as I don't think I'm going to, but this video will be in the channel tomorrow. We will have this video in its podcast form up on the channel. So if you want to go listen to a podcast form, you can go do it there. Share it. Get people involved. We will have other videos going on there. NXT UK, those are going to be done this week. I'm going to start doing that. Monday Night Raw on Monday. Tuesday night will be SmackDown. We'll be doing those as well. Halloween just happened. Go check out our Halloween video. It's got some likes. It's got some dislikes. Some people may have thought it was one thing. It turned out to be something else. Go ahead and watch it. It's fun. It's just a fun video. It's me reviewing the 2018 Halloween movie. I waited all the way till now to do it because I wanted to wait. But it's a good movie. Go watch it and make it fun as we do it. If you haven't seen it already, I did do my previews. I didn't think it loaded, but it did. My preview and predictions for this show, the unedited version is uploaded. I didn't know that I did that, but my unedited video is up on the channel. Go watch that if you want to go back and see it. And if you want to go and watch all my reactions, the live link, or the link, the live stream is up. It's going. Go ahead, jump on there, watch it. It's funny. I don't think I got anything else to say. You already know. Twitter, Patreon, Facebook. It's all on there. Thank you, everybody who was in the show today, everyone who watched the live stream. Thank you, every single one of you. Thank you, everyone who came to our Evolution show. That's up on the channel. It's live, both on the podcast if you want to hear it, and on there. Also, we are apparently on iTunes. We're apparently on Apple Music. We're apparently on Stitcher. We're on all these different sites. I will get all the information. I will link all the information. We are in podcast form on multiple different platforms now. We can all thank Jake for that. So thank you, Jake. Thank you, everybody. I'm out of here. I am done. I'm going to nurse my throat with some green tea or something because I am dying. So I will see you guys soon, very soon. Tomorrow will be the live Q&A. I won't be doing any talking except for answering or telling some questions. JD will do it. Not sure on the time. We'll post it on Facebook tomorrow. I'm going to say around 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's what we'll shoot for. 3 p.m. Central Standard Time will be the live Q&A. Everyone who shows up, send us questions. Put it in the description down below. If you don't show up and we don't get questions, we're not doing it. So everyone who wants to be there, the Q&A, Ask JD Anything video. New subscribers will be shouted out. It will be awesome. We'll be doing a stream for that as well. Streamlabs will be open for donations, all that stuff. The Kissing Bandit will reveal his secrets tomorrow. Thank you guys. Y'all, Yo Bro Nation, I love you. I'll see you guys again soon. Peace out.